It's another big week here in the human design world and in the astrological world. We just had the Democratic National Convention here in the United States, which started right on top of the supermoon in Aquarius. That was happening on Monday. And so we're still living inside of the window of that super full moon, and even the full moon, the blue moon, actually, that happened in Capricorn last month in July. So we've really got a lot going on here. And for those of you who may not be aware, astrology is one of the 4 ancient wisdom traditions out of which the human design system is created. So it's absolutely a critical part of the human design system. However, we do interpret somewhat differently. I do appreciate hearing from the astrologers about how they are interpreting what's going on, because they do have a different point of view. And so if you're curious about that, I would encourage you. I personally love Pam Gregory, so I would encourage you to go and check her out. But, a lot of the astrologers are talking about these things because we're in a really, really potent time now that's mirroring the end of the 18th century. And so as Pluto is moving into Capricorn, moving out of Capricorn and into Aquarius, and it's kind of going back and forth, and we're seeing this from an astrological point of view and from a human design point of view, we've just got a lot of supercharged energy around the breakdown of the old order Capricorn, that Pluto is pulling his energy out of that Capricorn energy and moving into Aquarian energy, which is also Uranian energy. And we're going to have Uranus is going to be stationing at the beginning of next month. So I'm not going to talk about that today, but I will be coming back to that. But we've got this really kind of electrifying, supercharged energy around power and authority and democracy and leadership. And so if you're feeling that kind of tension, you're not alone. A lot of us are feeling it. I know it's been disrupting my sleep. So that's kind of the context of that's happening for us during this month, and is going to be continuing with us for the next few months. And I hope that you're taking good care of yourself during this time. You're meditating, you're drinking water, you're taking walks, you're writing, you're talking to trusted friends, and you're really paying attention to what's going on so that you don't allow that really potent electrifying energy of Uranus to be making you reactive, because it totally can. I've been seeing it. I've been feeling it. So just know that this is a really great time to increase your self-care and your self-awareness. Okay, so that's our overall context. And now we're going to dive into the particular transit of the sun and the earth that starts today on August 23rd. So I'm Maggie Ostara. I am a human design and quantum human design expert and the creator of the 8 pillars of feminine sovereignty. If you're here for the first time, welcome. And we're going to go ahead and dive into today's transit. I do want to let you know about a masterclass that I am offering that is happening next Tuesday on the 27th of August. And it's called Crack the Human Design Types and Strategy Code. The reason I am offering this is that in my experience, people learn their human design type and strategy first, pretty much. It's kind of like learning your sun sign, right? Like, what's your sun sign? Well, what's your type? So you learn your type. You're a generator, a manifesting generator, manifestor, projector, or reflector, right? You're one of these types. And then each one of them has a strategy. But in my experience of doing lots of readings at this point, hundreds of readings, many times people have heard that and they have some information about it, but they don't actually know what it means in their day-to-day life. And so they haven't cracked the code of what their type and strategy really is. And this is the foundation of our entry point into human design, is understanding our type and strategy and also our authority. So I invite you to join us for this masterclass. We'll put the link to register down below, and come and find out more about this. If you're someone who has, learned your type and your strategy, but you still don't trust it, you still don't fully understand it. I know that for me, when I first learned my type and my strategy, I was like, that can't possibly be right. It didn't fit with my self-concept, and it didn't fit with my way of being. So I rejected it. And I don't want that to happen for you. And so I want to give you some keys that you can use to really crack that code and then live as your type and fully utilize your strategy. Because it really is a gift from the creative intelligence of the universe, that strategy. And so I want to help open that up for you. So today, on August 23rd, the sun moves into the gate 59, which is the gate of sexuality or sustainability in quantum human design. And the earth is going to move into the gate 55, which is the gate of spirit or the gate of faith. So let's go ahead and dive into the gate 59. So the gate 59 is on the sacral center. So it is primary life force energy. And one of the things the sacral center is known for is that it is the energy for work and sex, which sounds kind of mundane. I mean, it's kind of diminishes the significance of life force energy, because life force energy is the energy that we have to create, right? Which is why it has to do with sex, because sex is a creative act potentially, right? Reproduction. And also work is creative, and it's a creative energy. So this is a powerful creative energy. And the 59 is in the defense circuit, which is a sub-circuit of the tribal circuit. And this particular energy is about sex and sexuality. And then it's been renamed sustainability, because it is part of the channel of provision, or the channel of love and war, or channel of mating. And so this whole channel actually is lit up this month during this transit. And I'm going to talk about that channel a little bit later. But this whole channel here is really about providing for. Okay, it's an energy for providing for. So the sexuality is in the service of providing for people in the tribe, our children, the elders, the people who need support, and so on. And so that's why we get sustainability here, because sustainability is, how are we providing? Are we providing in a way that is sustainable to us? Or are we exhausting ourselves by overgiving and over providing and not being open to receive? And so we want to live in a state of reciprocity where, yes, we're providing, but we're also receiving, so that there's this natural, right, give and receive that's going on. And so we want to look at this in sustainability. And unfortunately, and a lot of us are in our individual lives, but also in the living world, and in many different institutions that we have and organizations and so on, we're not living in a sustainable way. We literally cannot sustain at the levels at which we are using energy. And that's true whether we're just talking about your individual life and your own energy, or whether or not we're talking about how we use energy as a collective, around the globe. And so this is an opportunity, while the sun is lighting this up, for us to really ask the question, am I operating in a sustainable way in my life? Am I using my energy in a way that I can continue to do so? Or do I need to take the next step, which is to regenerate? And any of us can burn out, even generators who have this lit up in their chart. And even for us, because everybody's going to have this lit up, right, during this transit, because you can see that we have these channels that are lighting up the sacral. But any of us can still burn out, because we can overdo. If we're just overdoing. In the yoga traditions, we like to call this spending prana. Like, we're just spending prana. We're just spending our energy, spending, and we're not building and nourishing and regenerating. So this is a great time for you to be looking at that. And the thing about sexual energy is that if we are oversexed, right? If we are really sometimes getting a little obsessive about sex, or we're going at it a lot, it can actually really drain us, because there's a lot of energy that goes into that. This is especially true for men. So we want to pay attention to that and know that, building that sexual energy is really a part of our vitality, because sexual energy isn't just about having sex. It's also this just kind of juicy energy that we can generate for ourselves. And we can do that while the sun is in the 59. So that's something to check out for yourself. Are you nourishing your life force energy? Do you feel vital, or do you feel like you're spending too much of your prana and you're getting too tired? In which case you need to regenerate. And the sun in the gate 59 is resting on the earth in the gate 55. Now, the 55 is on the emotional solar plexus, so it's an emotional energy, and it's a beautiful energy. This is the gate, which is, we call it faith in quantum human design, and I really think of it as the relax into knowing that you'll have what you need when you need it. We've been pretty heavily conditioned in Western culture to accumulate and even to hoard, to believe that we need more, right? And we need to hold on to things and to accumulate. And what's driving that underneath is a belief in scarcity. It's a belief that there isn't enough for us. There isn't enough for everyone. But that's actually not true. There's enough food on the planet right now to feed every person. There are enough resources on the planet right now to take care of everyone. But the way that we distribute resources, right, is not sustainable. If we look at that 59, right, it's not sustainable, and it's definitely not equitable, right? Very hierarchical in terms of who has resources and who doesn't. So that can really stimulate our fear, where we feel like we don't have enough. There's too many people who are hoarding and who are accumulating too much of the wealth of the world, and there isn't enough for everyone else. So you want to really look at that and look at whatever kind of negative emotions you might have about that and be like, okay, how can I relax into the truism that I have what I need when I need it? I have what I need when I need it. And take a look at your life. Has that been true for you? Because I know I can fall into that fear of not enoughness, just like everybody else, because I grew up in Western culture. I live in Western culture. And that mantra of scarcity and not enoughness is really strong. You have to use your intention to be like, no, I'm actually not going to fall into that. And you're going to have a boost of the earth in this gift 55 energy during this time. So I encourage you to, kind of unpack for yourself what your beliefs are around scarcity or abundance. Do you have enough? How much is enough? There's a great book called The Soul of Money by Lynn Twist that talks a lot about enoughness and how we've gotten very distorted around the idea of abundance, and how we can relax into this sense of having what we need when we need it. And when we do that, we actually are much more relaxed, and we're more able to attract into our lives that which we want. Because this is emotional energy, it needs time. It needs time. Whenever there's emotional energy, you want to just hit the pause button and get clear for yourself. So while this earth is lighting up the 55, it's a good time to pause and really, like I said, take a look at your life. You can look at yourself, historically back through your life, and have you had what you needed when you needed it, right? And then how can you grow this faith inside of yourself that you will? Now, notice that this is in the knowing circuit. So it's highly intuitive. It's not analytical. It's not strategic. So you're not going to get to that place of faith and this resting part of knowing that you'll have what you need it by analyzing the numbers in your bank account. You're not going to get there. It's in a different realm. And it really has to do with the power of your emotional energy and your power of your connection to spirit, so that you can be receiving that reassurance that's coming to you through that knowing circuit. And then let's just talk a little bit about this channel, that 59-6, which is being lit up. Venus is in the 6th, and Venus is going to be there through the 28th. So that's how long we're going to have this channel going. So about 5 days, just a little less than when the Earth is in the 55. So it's basically this next transit. And this is known as the channel of mating, or the channel of love and war, kind of colloquially in traditional human design. And it's known as the channel of provision in quantum human design. So the 6, which is the mate of that 59, is on the emotional solar plexus. So like the 55 I was just talking about a second ago, it needs time. And the 6 can be a little bit, in traditional human design, it's known as friction. Right? It can be a place where you can feel a little like, So another time to really pause and ask what is best, right? And is it the right time to be providing? Is it the right time to be having sex? Is it the right situation? Is it the right person? Right? What are the conditions under which I'm engaging in this energy with that 59? Right? Because there can be consequences for sex or for providing. Again, if we're over giving or we're overdoing and we're not receiving, right? That can be a problem with provision and with sexuality, and with lots of things in our life, right? Because we always want to aim to be in a reciprocal relationship. It keeps things in balance. And so with that 6, you want to be looking out for the potential, the divine feminine energy is lighting it up. It's Venus, right? And so Venus could go in there with a little bit like, right? Like this has to change. We need to have a different way that provision is happening. We need to have a different way that sex is happening. We need to have something that is more suitable for everyone who's involved and is more sustainable so that we can go on providing. Because if you think, if you use up your stores until they're empty, and then if you go into the red, right, you go into debt, then you get into problems. So we want to stay in a place where we're always giving from the overflow. And when we do that, we don't have to worry about burning out. And that's a really good thing. I hope you'll join me next week for Crack the Human Design Types and Strategy Code. This will give you a powerful foundation for you to dive into your human design. Because honestly, even understanding the gates and all these things that I share with you during the transit reports, it's hard to get the full benefit unless and until you've really cracked that code around the types and the strategy. It'll stay kind of at a distance in terms of information. But when you really got your type and your strategy dialed in, then you start to get the energetics of it and you start to get the soul curriculum and truly the spiritual information, not just the analytical information, but the spiritual information that's available to the rest, in the rest of the chart. So I hope you'll join me for that, and I'll see you next week. Okay. Many blessings. Much love. Bye for now.